Every day, millions of birds die. Robins, sparrows, cardinals, finches, crows. It happens in cities, suburbs, forests, and fields all around the world. Yet most people can go years without finding a single dead bird. Think about that for a moment. You see birds constantly, on fences, in trees, at feeders, crossing roads, singing outside your window. But where do they go when their lives end? It is a question so common that scientists, bird watchers, and wildlife researchers have been asked some version of it for decades. Because once you notice the mystery, it becomes difficult to ignore. If there are so many living birds, why are there so few dead ones? Welcome back to Backyard Bird Mind. Today we are exploring one of the strangest mysteries in nature: why dead birds seem so incredibly rare, where birds actually go when they die, and why the answer is far more surprising than most people expect. Number 1. Birds die every day. The first thing to understand is that there is no shortage of bird deaths. Bird populations experience constant losses from predators, disease, accidents, weather, starvation, and old age. Every day, countless birds reach the end of their lives. From a purely statistical perspective, people should encounter dead birds far more often than they do. Yet somehow, they remain strangely absent. This leads many people to imagine something mysterious is happening. But the truth begins with a simple fact. Most birds do not die where humans spend their time looking. Number 2. Sick birds instinctively hide. One of the most important survival rules in nature is never appear vulnerable. A weak animal attracts attention. Predators notice weakness. Competitors notice weakness. Survival becomes dramatically harder. Birds evolved under this pressure for millions of years. As a result, many species instinctively seek isolation when they become seriously ill or injured. Instead of remaining in open spaces, they retreat. Dense shrubs, thick vegetation, hidden corners of forests, places where they are less visible. Researchers studying wild birds have repeatedly observed this behavior. A bird that appeared active one day may quietly disappear into cover the next. Most people never witness this process because it happens away from paths, sidewalks, and backyards. The bird simply vanishes from view. Number 3. Nature removes evidence faster than people realize. Even when a bird dies in a visible location, it often does not remain there for long. Nature wastes very little. A small bird represents food. Foxes, cats, raccoons, possums, crows, even insects. Numerous creatures quickly take advantage of available resources. Researchers studying animal remains frequently find that small carcasses can disappear with surprising speed, sometimes within hours, sometimes overnight. What seems like a mystery to humans is often simply the result of an ecosystem working exactly as it was designed to work. Nothing remains unused for long. And this is where the mystery becomes even stranger. Because hiding and scavengers explain part of the story, but they do not explain all of it. The real answer involves something most people never consider: where birds spend the final moments before they disappear. But hiding and scavengers explain only part of the mystery. The real answer involves something most people never consider: where birds spend their final moments. Number 4. Most birds die in places humans rarely search. Think about where you usually see birds: lawns, feeders, sidewalks, parks, roads. These are the places humans spend time, but they represent only a tiny fraction of the spaces birds actually use. A bird may spend most of its life moving through dense shrubs, thick tree canopies, hidden thickets, abandoned fields, and areas people rarely enter. When a bird becomes weak, those hidden places become even more important. Researchers have found that many birds retreat into cover when they are no longer healthy enough to keep up with normal activity. The result is simple. The final location of many birds is somewhere humans never think to look. A dense hedge, a hollow tree, deep vegetation behind a fence. Places where a person could walk past 100 times and never notice what is hidden inside. Number 5. Small bodies disappear surprisingly fast. Humans often imagine that a dead bird should remain visible for days or weeks. Nature rarely works that way. A sparrow weighs only a few ounces. A chickadee even less. Small bodies break down quickly. Scavengers find them. Insects find them. Weather affects them. Researchers studying wildlife remains have repeatedly observed how rapidly small animals can disappear from an environment. Sometimes overnight, sometimes within hours. By the time a person returns to the same location, there may be almost no visible evidence left. The process feels shocking because humans are used to thinking on human timescales. Nature often works much faster, especially when resources are involved. Number 6. Birds evolved to avoid attracting attention even at the end of life. For millions of years, survival depended on avoiding predators. Weakness was dangerous. Visibility was dangerous. Drawing attention was dangerous. Those instincts do not suddenly disappear when a bird becomes sick or old. Many birds continue behaving cautiously until the very end. They hide, remain quiet, avoid open spaces. The same instincts that helped them survive throughout life often guide their final movements as well. Which means the disappearance of birds is not some mysterious event. It is often the result of survival behaviors continuing for as long as possible, even when survival is no longer possible. Number 7. The real reason the mystery feels so strange. Perhaps the most surprising part of this entire question is not where the birds go. It is why humans notice the mystery at all. We see birds constantly. They fill our mornings with song, cross our roads, visit our feeders, build nests near our homes. They become part of everyday life, yet their final moments remain largely hidden from us. Not because something supernatural is happening, but because nature is remarkably efficient. Birds spend their lives avoiding attention, and in many cases, they disappear the same way. Quietly, out of sight, without drawing notice. The birds outside your window today will not remain there forever. None of them will. Yet most will vanish from the world exactly as they lived within it, hidden among leaves, behind branches, beyond the places where people usually look. And perhaps that is why this mystery has fascinated so many people for so long. Because every morning we see the living birds. We hear their songs. We watch them gather at feeders and fences. But the final chapter of their story almost always happens somewhere else. Somewhere quiet, somewhere hidden, somewhere nature keeps largely to itself. And the next time you find yourself wondering why you almost never see dead birds, you may realize the answer was never that birds disappear. It is that nature has become extraordinarily good at hiding the evidence. The real question is not where the birds went. The real question is how many final stories have unfolded around us without us ever knowing they were there.